Welcome back to another weekly GMBN Tech show.
On the show this week,
new bikes from Evil and Santa Cruz,
as well as some new wheel sets from DT Swiss.
And a virtual mountain bike festival coming up soon. Okay, so straight into news, and the first thing we want to talk about is that new Evil bike. This is it on screen. It's called the Wreckoning. It's a 29-inch wheel, 160mm frame. It can run a 160 fork, a 170 fork, or if you're feeling particularly crazy, a 190mm fork. Yeah, this thing is the new bad boy in town. Now, you might have spotted Aggie riding one of those, Graham Agassiz, at Red Bull Rampage last year. He had a twin crown boxer on there, and he also ran 27.5-inch wheels, running it in the higher position, and generally his was spec'd out with like cliff jumping proof gear. So essentially this is what they're saying the bike can do. It can do anything it damn well pleases, as long as you're willing enough to pilot the bike through the stuff. Back to it on screen, you'll see it comes in this amazing coral colour, as well as other colours. It's an Evil after all. They always have a main crazy colour. They've had Angry Dolphin in the past, but that coral looks real nice. So a little bit of information about it. Have a look at some of these lovely details on the frame. Now, the frames have definitely progressed over the last few years. They've got a lot longer, a lot lower, a lot slacker, designed around short offset forks. This one is designed around a 44mm offset fork, so it's bang up to date. It's got all of the cool stuff going on. It's also based around much larger and burlier pivot hardware. So they know that people are really going to give this bike some flack. Back at it on screen. Okay, so some numbers for you. Bearing in mind that they spec this with a 160, a 170 or a 190 fork on here. With the 160 fork, you're looking at a head tube angle of 65.2 or 64.6, depending on the settings you run it at, and a seat angle of 77 or 76.5. So that's a real good climbing friendly seat angle to have on the bike there. Now, like I said, it's got the shorter offset fork on there. On this bike, it's got a 42mm offset. And then reach on the bike, this is cool because there's 4 sizes and it ranges from 445 up to 502. So 502mm on the extra large, decent sizing. The base model starts at $5,900 US. Back to it on screen again now. Look at the thing. Look how bad boy it is. I mean, gotta love Evil bikes. I love them in the same sort of vein as Yeti, actually. There's not much in the way of branding going on. They kind of leave these things to just sit there and look right. Look how it sits. It looks low, it looks slack, it looks really aggressive as well. That could look amazing with the set of the new Zeb forks on there. You could even put a short travel boxer on there. There's all sorts of things you could do with a mental bike like this. If you've got enough money, you could have a long travel fork and you could have a 160 fork and just alternate between them for different sorts of riding. They say you can race it enduro. They say you can do bike parks on it. They can say you can jump it off cliffs if you fancy, or leave a 160 fork on it and it's good for everything. I mean, well, there you go, that's about what you need to know about it. The thing looks insane. What do you think of it? And which colour, more importantly, would you have if we're being completely superficial about things? Because you pick an Evil bike, you're not just picking it because it's a good bike, you pick it because it looks cool as well, right? Let us know in those comments underneath. Nice one to the Evil boys and girls and obscure people that are crazed for designing things like this.
So next in the news, we have a new release from Santa Cruz. So this is the V10 MX, the mixed wheel size version. So that means it's got a 27.5 out the back paired to a 29 on the front. Now this is super interesting because Santa Cruz were one of the early adopters and embracers of the 29-inch downhill bike. To much success, it has to be said. So this is to suit a wider range of riders, and they do adopt an element of smart sizing. For instance, the 27 comes in small, medium, large, the mixed wheel size comes in medium, large, and the XL goes medium, large, extra large. So why would you need different size wheels depending on your own stature? Because reach, etc., and many of the frame dimensions don't change. Well, what does happen is as the wheel comes through what is quite a large amount of travel on those V10s, it stops your bum buzzing the tyre. So for people with shorter legs, they benefit exponentially from this. Now, it was tested over winter in various kind of setups, but now there is a production version. And it's the production version that some of the team riders would have been riding if the World Cup season had gone ahead this year, which very much sadly, as you're aware, it didn't. So it still comes with the adjustable chainstay length, and I think it is a really, really exciting bike. And the reason that is because when Mullets came out, I was To be honest, I was dubious because I just thought putting a 27-inch wheel in a bike might give you some answers, but there isn't a golden ticket. And I've always thought it was quite strange to hear people heralding them as doing all of these wondrous things with such a simple fix. But if you actually take into account and you change the frame up a bit, well, it certainly kind of has my interest, and I would love to try a mixed wheel size downhill bike, when previously just popping a 27 and a 29 platform didn't really have too much of my interest. So the base models start from £6,000, so certainly a pricey bike, but it is a very premium package. And I mean, some of the paint jobs, that cherry red looks absolutely fantastic. But what do you guys think? Have any of you been tempted to put a smaller wheel in the back of your bike? Trail bike, enduro bike, downhill bike. They've all been tried, especially by some very fast riders on the race circuits. And we see some new releases from DT Swiss. So we're seeing the new 1501 and 1700 spline wheel sets. And I think they're actually a very important wheel sets. Well, both of them. So the 1501 and the 1700 spline have really been staples of the mountain biking community really for a long time now. Especially the 1700 has been a real go-to. So what are the new wheels? Well, what do they entail? So the 1500 is now a carbon rim instead of alloy, which is probably going to get some people's backups because they were real fan favourites. They still come with the 3 modes as the XRC, the XMC and the EXC versions. So basically that's the same hub built upon a different rim depending upon application. So it's for cross country, all mountain and enduro riding respectively, and there'll be kind of weight savings or added weight as suited. It comes with the new DT Swiss 240 Ratchet EXP hub, which has 36 tooth engagement, but if you wanted to, you could up that to 54 tooth. So the XRC and the XMC, which are the cross country and all mountain options, are center lock only. If you want to have a 6-bolt compatibility, you would be on the enduro wheel set, which is the EXC. So the 3 hubs, of course, can be easily swapped over to suit your cassette. So it's available in XD, HG or microspline. And oh my God, there are a lot of letters in this piece of news. So there is a 180 gram drop pretty much across the board for all the options. So that's quite a lot when you think, a light wheel set for say an aggressive sort of trail bike is maybe 17 or 1800 grams. And you're taking 10% away, so it's really quite a saving. All the rims have a 30mm internal diameter and they're all priced at 1900 US or 1500 euros. So very premium, but some people will absolutely gobble them up because DT Swiss hubs really are a thing of beauty, and that new ratchet system really does look something special. The previous generation system on there, which was the 240, now has basically passed on a lot of its characteristics to the new 350, which is found in this other wheel set, the 1700 spline. So this is alloy rim with that kind of updated internals of the hub. So this is a 36 tooth SL ratchet, and DT Swiss have actually alluded that they don't want to go instantaneous engagement, which is why they're rolling out on 36 tooth across the board. Because as you go to more instantaneous engagement, you are kind of pairing up the drivetrain and the suspension platform, with a little bit less wiggle room. Needless to say, you don't want to go too slack either, but like everything, it's a bit of a balancing act. So the rim, yet again, on this second wheel set changes on purpose, be it XR, XM or EX for your cross-country, all mountain and enduro riding again. Now the lightest version, the XR, so the cross-country one, comes with a 25mm internal diameter, but the other 2 more aggressive rims come with a 30mm internal diameter. Now that's not all. All these wheels are built by hand, and there's real emphasis on serviceability. Not least, and I think this is great, so they're all coming with a quick scan barcode on the rim, and you can scan that, plumb it into the DT Swiss website, and what that will do is tell you all compatibility, all spoke lengths, anything like that in one handy place. And if you've ever broken a spoke and you go to a bike shop and say, I want to buy a spoke, and then they inform you there are actually 15 billion variations of length, you will be very happy for this, which I think is really, really good, and it kind of follows suit. You see a lot of suspension manufacturers doing it now. A little code, you pop it into their website and it tells you everything, which I think is fantastic. More transparency is only a good thing. But no, I think they look very, very good, and I can imagine they'll be very popular as original equipment and aftermarket alike.
Okay, well, this year has been an especially challenging year around the world for retail, for event, pretty much for everything. Let's face it, COVID has been a nasty thing for everyone to have to deal with. Bike industry, though, thankfully, is getting back on track bit by bit. Supply chains are reopening and they're getting those bikes to much needed people out around the world. Events and festivals have kind of been knocked on the head to a large degree. Sea Otter is one of the events we love going to see all that latest tech, and they've had to can it basically until next year. However, they are doing what's called a virtual festival. So on screen, you'll see the holding page for it. It's called Sea Otter Play. This thing looks amazing. It's a digital festival, and they're going to be doing all sorts of cool stuff. So you need to know the registration opens on August the 14th. That's if you want to take part in any of the events that are going on there. The events are between the 1st and the 20th of September. Now, the first cool thing I want to tell you about is they're doing a digital expo. So all of those brands, 350 of them, that would have been exhibiting all of their cool new tech, mountain bike tech, gravel tech, whatever tech you want to see, they would have been there at the actual Sea Otter. They're all going to be exhibiting via this digital festival, so you're going to be able to tune in and see all that new tech. That in itself is worth tuning in for. That's what I'll be tuning in for mainly. You can also do digital racing, and there's going to be competitions. The racing, of course, is going to be via digital turbo trainers, reactive software, stuff like that. There's also going to be loads of stuff given away, so definitely tune into that because there's going to be some really cool products and prizes to win. Now, there's also going to be some kind of movie premiere. Now, in the past, Sea Otter has always had some really cool video premieres. There's been New World Disorder films that have happened at the cinema in town. A couple of years back, actually probably longer than a couple of years back, I saw the Steve Pete Won't Back Down documentary with a cinema full of blubbing grown men. It was amazing. There's always really cool stuff happening at Sea Otter. So this year, I hear that Warren Miller, who's responsible for some of the best ski movies of all time, he's got a mountain bike film dropping, and there's going to be an exclusive way of watching it via this digital festival. So that alone has got to be worth tuning in for, alongside all the tech. There's a few more screenshots of some of the other stuff going on, and they're supporting non-profit organisations, so that's got to be a good thing. It's a digital festival, which means we can all tune in and see it. No one has to travel anywhere, so that's got to be an upside, because lots of people couldn't actually get to Sea Otter just because it's, you know, a prestigious event over in Monterey in California. So if you've not been able to get to it, this might be an opportunity to see what it's all about. SeaOtterPlay.com is the website, and the link to it is in the description underneath this one. So check it out, if nothing else, to find out about some cool mountain bike tech that you didn't know about.
So now it is time for the quiz questions. So the first question, we mentioned earlier on the Santa Cruz V10. But where does the name V10 come from? And what did it originally mean? So that's your first question. The second question is, which of these companies does not form part of SRAM? We've got Quark, Zip, Trugative and Roval. So which of those four companies isn't part of SRAM? Now the final question, and actually speaking of SRAM, depends how well you were listening last week, because RockShox of course launched the new Zeb fork. But what is Zeb short for? So tune in later on to get the answers.
Okay, now it's time for Bike Cave. This is where you get to show us all the cool places where you store your bikes. Could be the garden shed, could be the loft if you've got an expansive loft. Could be a workshop on the side of your house like my one. It could be literally anything. Anything goes. Back of a pickup truck, back of a van, anything. However small it is. Even broom cupboards are welcome. If it's a home for your bike, then it's welcome here on GMBN Tech. There's a link for our uploader at the bottom of the screen there, and it's also in the description underneath this video, and it'll take you through to our uploader service. As you can see on screen now, there's a bit of screen flow of how easy it is to use the uploader. Honestly, you just tell us a bit about yourself, a bit about the photos you're submitting, and that's basically it, and then we'll chuck you on the show. Okay, so let's get straight into it. First up this week is from Jason in Bicester. He's got a Lapierre Edge 627, or he says, or that's what's left of it, which suggests you've done quite a lot of top mods on it. So I'm hoping you're going to also submit an entry into top mods, which is another cool part of the show. Okay, so a few shots on my limited space I have in my shed for everything I have for my bike and fishing gear, as well as all of life's other necessities. Sometimes you just have to make the most of the space you have when you have no garage. Yeah, absolutely. Most people I know do exactly the same thing with some kind of shed. Yours does look like a really good quality shed though, rather than your average just wooden shed. Looks like you've got something like a trim tiles metal shed. It looks decent. If it is, they're really secure as well, which is a great thing to have, especially when your Pride and Joy is in there. As I can see, your Pride and Joy is in there on a nice little muck off mat, so you can wheel your bike in there all dirty and it's not going to get dirt everywhere in the shed. See little one's bike, pride of place next to yours, that's good to see. Loads of cool stuff going on there. God, you crammed it out, haven't you? You've got some racking on the side, on the right, and it looks like your fishing boxes stacked up there. Wheels hanging from the top. Nice little pegboard on the back as well. Looking good, mate. Yeah, you've definitely decked it right out, maximised on that space. That's what it's all about, it's maximising space. I mean, everywhere I've ever lived, bar here, has always been a compromise. I've shared garages with multiple people before. I've kept bikes under beds before. I've had to raise a bed up, basically up on blocks, take the wheels off and just chuck a bike under a bed. I've had all sorts. So I'm exceptionally thankful for the fact that I was able to build this place. But I know what it's like in reality for most people. So yeah, you've definitely done an amazing job there, Jason. So thank you so much for sending that in. Next up is from Aaron in Rossendale, another UK one. Rossendale, that's am I right in thinking Rossendale's near Lee Quarry? Or am I totally making it up? If it is, it's a cool area up there. Lee Quarry is amazing actually. Geographically, really bizarre place. Very cool. Okay, so having been told by the wife that the bike is always in the way in the kitchen, I thought it was time to create some kind of bike cave. Yes, that is how it's done. I haven't got the greatest of spaces, so this is what I've done. Let me know what you think. All right, firstly, before I look at the pictures, I think there's a bit of a theme here. I reckon, I'm gonna have to think about this, we might start giving out some awards for some of the coolest entries across Top Mods, Bike Cave and Rewind, especially like the effort that people go to with bike caves, because everyone puts in so much effort and you're sending in such great pictures which help us with the show. Let us know if you think it's a good idea, and if you've got any suggestions of this, or maybe a new section in the show where we give like Champion Techer of the Month or something like that. Let us know in those comments what you think underneath, and we'll pick that one up next week's show. Okay, so let's have a look at your shots then, Aaron. First up, awesome use of the space there. I love the fact the biggest bike is in the middle of the eaves there and the junior bikes are at the side. That's great. Great use of space, and also you got your helmet up the top there, out of prying hands. Nice little stool you've made there. That's ace. That's a good hack actually. Into that, nicely done. A very neat looking tool chest there. Far too neat in fact. I'm very envious. Mine is an absolute pigsty. I love the dividers you've built on the inside of yours. What have you held those in with? Is that a Sugru? I hope it is Sugru. It's good stuff, Sugru. In fact, I need to get some more. I haven't had any for a while. The last lot, I actually kept it too long and it went out of date. It had already started curing in a packet. It was a bit annoying. Love how clean your workbench area is. Nice, you've got some Silverline Allen keys there, and you've got a nice pegboard. An exploded drawing of your caliber. I'm guessing you've got caliber. I know Mike, the guy who used to design those bikes. So yeah, that's very cool to see. Love this space up high. Good storage space up high is really important because it gets stuff out of the way and it doesn't sort of visually impact the rest of your space. Yeah, looking decent, mate. Really good. Really good use of space. I'm well impressed. Nice handlebars above the door there, and I love the clock, disc brake rotor clock. Yeah, good work, good bit of upcycling, recycling, whatever. Good bit of work, like it. Nice work. Yeah, and there's a nice little unit you built for helmet and all your riding gear as well. It's perfect. Out to the shed, get a chain. Be like Superman going in, or Clark Kent going into a phone booth and it coming out. In fact, you should do that as a little video clip, walking into a shed like a normal person, riding out a shed on your bike, fully clothed. That'd be quite a funny Instagram video of that. Nice. Good work. Very good work. Exceptional work. All of the good work. Even space for a stool under the bench. Awesome. Genuinely impressed. Yeah, it looks great. And a bottle opener on the outside. I have that exact bottle opener, or one that looks exactly like that bottle opener. Anyway, I love the outside as well. Nice colour that. I've just painted my garden fence a kind of grey sort of colour. Looks so neat and tidy, and sort of somehow blends in but reflects a nice amount of light back off it as well. A bit better than just having a regular creosote fence, I think. Yeah, nice little shed there. I like it. Awesome. Oh my God, look at this one. Wow. So Adrian, Gold Coast, Queensland and Australia. I swear, like, what is it with So, well, actually, seemingly everywhere in the UK seems to have massive double or quad garages. I don't know what this is, but it is huge. I know the photo angle makes it look a bit bigger, but it looks amazing. Decked out the workshop during the pandemic, repainted, new bike stands, new gear, wall storage, new maintenance stand and foam flooring area, new pegboard for the tools and loads of new tools. Dude, you've been spending some money. Well, I guess you kind of save money if you're in lockdown as well, so it's all relative. It's been super fun and a great place to work on the bikes or have a beer after riding. Next edition will likely be a TV for streaming GMBN. Oh, awesome work, Adrian. Yeah, that looks sick. Have you got any detail shots as well? No, just the big one, but the big one's good enough because you can see a lot of stuff going on. So you've got chest of drawers there, nice Shimano decal on there, load of fishing accessories up the top. Okay, fishing must be amazing where you are. Loads of high storage. I love high storage. Not really got the room height. Well, actually, I've got storage above the roof instead, but that's really good because you get everything, all the junk out of the way. Yeah, it looks really good. Is that a cone? No, it's a Norco sight in an XL. You're a tall guy. Good stuff. Okay, next one is from Jack in Atlanta, USA. I've just been watching Atlanta in Walking Dead. Yeah, we decided we needed something to watch during lockdown, so we've just been hammering through 2 or 3 episodes tonight of Walking Dead. Kind of good actually, it's not bad. But not quite as cool as your Intense Sniper or your Cube Elite or your Kona unit. The Kona is a really cool bike actually. I do love Kona as a brand. They've got it going on, I think. Blake will love this with the neon lights and stuff. You've obviously got some Crank Brother pedals because they come with that decal. Nice Bose portable speaker. They sound amazing, don't they? I've got a little Bose portable as well. Magnetic tool holder. I'm liking that. I've got something similar for knives in the kitchen, but yeah. There's an idea there. I'm going to have a bit of an overhaul. In fact, I'm going to have a total overhaul at some point. Maybe I'll save it to autumn when I've got a little bit more time on my hands because I'm struggling for storage. I need to redo everything in here. Complete change. Going to make it look totally different. Yeah, I'm liking some of your ideas. That's a super neat unit across the back there. That's like an all-in-one workshop dream. Look at that thing. Who's that made by? I need to look it up. Let us know if you're watching, put it in the comments below. There are probably similar brands that we can look at over here. Yes, you've essentially got 2 wardrobes, 3 overbench units and 2 underbench roll cabs. Amazing. Yeah, that is really neat. I might struggle with the headspace a bit, but it looks good. Loads of bike stuff hanging up as well. Dude, you've got loads of stuff tucked away in here, haven't you? Flipping heck. Awesome selection of stuff, guys. Great bike caves this week. Sorry, I was getting immersed in that because I just started thinking about things I want to do to my own place. Whatever you've got, the tiniest shed is great. If you haven't got a shed, you've got a lean-to. That'll do. Send them in and we love them. Thanks very much for your entries. Okay, now it's time for Rewind. This is where we literally rewind the discs and go back in time to see where mountain biking started getting cool, really. That's the very beginning for some cases, and that's not so near the beginning. Look at the one I've got on my screen I'm going to show you. If you've got anything old, anything retro, 90s would be best because that really defines retro, but we'll take a bit later if it's something a bit older. And we'll also take, we're willing to see some modern retro takes because there's quite a few people doing some cool stuff with new bikes and giving them a nod back to yesterday. Whatever your take is on retro, we would love to see it here at GMBN Tech. So get your entries in. Again, the uploader is here and there's a click-through version of that in the description underneath, so you don't need to copy and paste it. You can just literally click the link and it'll take you through to our uploader. Let us know. Come on, get involved with the show. We love it. All right, so this is from Jamie in Aberdeen. And I remember these so much. This is Coyote DH2. My friend Finn from Full Factory Suspension, he used to have one of these as his cross-country bike. These things were so light for what they were and so versatile. So on your one, you've got Pace Monster RC150 forks. Oh, talk about a dream fork. Those things were insane. Never got to ride one, and I couldn't care less how they rode. They looked incredible. In fact, I'm a proper Pace fanboy. Like, the stuff that they make is just beautiful. Super Deluxe Shock, original Hope Pro brakes, MRP copy chain guide. Yeah, everyone had the copy back in the day. Used to get them from Super Cycles. They used to do those DDG frames. They used to do stuff just like their own version of the Coyote as well. That was a Nottingham based shop. Hope Big'un and Sport Hubs. I used to have a set of Big'uns. Actually, no, I didn't. I had bulbs. My friend had Big'uns. The bulbs were a slightly smaller, newer version, weren't they? Mavic rims, original Tioga factory DH tyres, looked great, but they were only good if you managed to get the Pro ones that were soft compound. The ones you used to buy on the shelf, do you remember those, like super hard? It's almost like plastic rather than rubber. They look cool, but terrifying at times. XT build, core stem, Azonic bars, Yeti grips, Tioga C, all in good condition. Also found my Dainese body armour, still fits. How's that smelling? Body armour after that age. I hope you got some Febreze ready for that one. Azonic full face helmet, Hard Knock shin pads. Oh my god. So for those of you that don't remember Hard Knocks, they're a British company. Hard Knocks spelled, how would they spell? K-N-O-X, I think. They were made for neoprene. He's essentially wearing half a wetsuit on your legs with big cap knee pads in them. They were so protective and a little bit restrictive, but to be fair, it felt like you'd ride for a wall on and you'd be absolutely fine. But they used to smell of like vinegar if you wore them too much. Anyone out there that used to wear those neoprene style pads and remember that smell, let us know in those comments, because it's quite a distinct smell. Bizarre things, but pretty good. Thankfully, knee pads today are incredible. In fact, I was looking at a set of Dainese knee pads the other day, and they're incredible. Super lightweight, a far cry from the Hard Knocks ones you've just been talking about. Fox dirt paw gloves as well. Also found my old GT Avalanche. I used to have GT LTS, and I've just received my new Pivot Firebird 29-inch Pro. Ooh, lovely. Right, so let's have a look at some of these shots. Jay Watson, man, look at the bike. It looks rad actually, isn't it? The saddle, like, yeah, laugh it up, those of you that don't know about them, but they were like hot stuff back in the day. They were so sought after. It was those or the SDG Big Boy. Unfortunately, I had the SDG Big Boy. It was literally about this big and it was about that wide. Horrendous thing, but you could jump off anything and land no-footed, so it didn't matter. In fact, I learned to do no-foots and no cans and stuff on those back then. I don't think I could even get my leg over a top tube these days. All right, there's a front angle of those forks. Look at those things. So nice looking. I think they look nice even now because they look kind of just quite industrial. The carbon brace on them, the carbon lower legs, and that almost like stainless steel approach on the upper legs. Yeah, super nice. Core stem, like you say. The Hope, what are they? Open twos or yeah? What are they? C2s? So the dials on the top. Can't tell from that angle. Looking good though, yeah. Look at that hub, it looks immense. And do you know what, the tyre tread on those Tiogas, I've kind of forgotten, they looked pretty good. Good shoulders on them there. Yeah, it looks so short, doesn't it? Awesome. Well, thanks for sending that Coyote in. That was one of the bargain price downhill bikes back then. It was solid performer by all accounts. Next up is from Zan, and he says in my house, he's still riding a 1994 Specialized FSR S-Works original. Oh, that was the bike that JMC used to race, one of the original FSRs. That is where the FSR link, also known as the Horst link, and that's where it really came from. It was one of the first bikes on earth to use that, certainly mass produced. I bought this bike during my college years. It was a replacement after the previous one was stolen. The previous one was a 1994 Klein Fever in Chameleon Green. Oh, gutted that you lost out on the Klein, but Specialized as a bad boy. So you've got those Ritchie Logic brake pads on there. They were like big whale size things. Amazing brake pads actually, I remember they looked disgusting being that size, but they had a sort of profile that would follow the rim, and they were so big, but they had like these sort of chamfered sides on them so they wouldn't catch on overhanging tyres. Overhanging tyres was a thing back then because everyone had narrow rims, so if you're running a bigger tyre like a 2.2 or even a 2.3, which would have been massive then, they used to bulge out, and actually brake pads used to rub on them. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Even the idea though, to be fair, of rim brakes is crazy to me. You're braking on a structural part of a wheel. That just sounds bonkers. But hey, we did it for years and it was good fun. So you've got a Specialized FSR fork on there as well. That is just a work of art, beautiful looking thing. Grip Shift SRT 800s, I had a set of those. What brakes are they on there? I can't see that. Original XTR, beautiful. There's that Horst link above that XTR mech. Look at that mech, that looks immaculate. That looks like new old stock. Wow, and the cranks, look at the condition of them. Flipping heck, dude, they look amazing. Get a good price for that. Oh, Diacomp, no way, I had a set of those brakes. I can't remember what they are. The PCH, yeah, they had the servo in them to give you more leverage. And they kind of, if you didn't get your cantilevers adjusted quite right, they felt really mushy. You had to set them up so you're almost at a mechanical disadvantage to have the servo in them to give you an advantage. Wow, totally forgot about those. That took me down memory lane there. Prestige Chromoly double butted. Lovely, lovely stuff that. Oh, there we go. And the Panaracer Fire XC Pro tyres, Onza, ski bend bar ends. What's that, a 135mm stem? Probably. Can't see what rims you got. They look like Mavics in the CD finish. They used to do them in silver or CD. CD is kind of like a gunmetal grey. Way nicer looking. In fact, the same colour as the linkage on that bike with that Fox Alps shock. Shimano XT M737 pedals. Oh, look at it. It kind of still doesn't look that bad now. I mean, all right, yeah, it's a bit short. It's got little size wheels. Geometry's a bit steep, but it doesn't look out of place really. Mega, thank you so much as always for getting involved with the rewind stuff. I think it's important to keep rewind going because without all this stuff, we wouldn't have the incredible stuff that we got now. See you next week.
So now it is time for the quiz answers. So where did the V10 get its name? Well, the V10 in its first generation had an absolutely whopping 10 inches of travel in the back, which is huge. Now, if you think about an aggressive all-mountain or enduro bike that might have 150 or 160, and yet adding a whole cross-country bike on top of it, it is absolutely huge because it would give out 255mm of travel, which is, yeah, jaw-dropping. The next question, which of the companies doesn't play a part in the SRAM group? And it is of course Roval, who do a lot of wheels for Specialized. The last question, where does the name Zeb come from for that new RockShox fork? It is of course Zebulon Pike, which sounds like it's named after a far-flung galaxy, but no, it was an explorer in ye olde America who actually is the namesake of Pikes Peak, so a very cool name indeed. Now as always guys, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Get in the comments, have any one of you tried the mixed wheel setup and how did you get on? Cheers guys, and we'll see you later.